Welcome back to the TKO Show. I'm going to be talking about the upcoming NFL games and just talking about some things that I see going on in the NFL and just some things. If a certain team pops up that I want to talk about, I'm going to go into depth on them a little bit more. But nonetheless, getting straight into it. First up is the Chargers versus Raiders. That is the Thursday night game. It's tonight's game. This is kind of an important game for both teams. It's win or go home. They're both 5-8. They're both right on the verge of being a playoff team. And since they're in the same division, they both have to win this game for them to still be alive in that playoff talk. Now, do I think either of these teams will get into the playoffs either way? No. Mainly because they have the Raiders in their division. I don't think there's any chance in hell that they win the division with the Raiders in it, or with the Chiefs in it, sorry. I do think, though, that the Chargers will pull this out. I think they have a little bit better on both sides of the ball. And with the Raiders coming in losing 3 straight, granted it was Dolphins, then Chiefs, then that shitty game against the Vikings, losing 3-0. And they're playing the Chargers this week. I just don't think that they are going to be able to overcome the Chargers. But yeah, Chargers are winning this one. And yeah, Chargers are winning this. There's not really much on this game to talk about other than Brandon Staley needs to be fired. If they don't make the playoffs or don't win this game, Brandon Staley needs to be fired. He should have been fired after last season, but definitely deserves it this season. Now moving on to the Saturday games. I forgot they're holding games on Saturdays now after college football's regular season is done. So there's 3 on Saturday this week. First game at 1 o'clock is Vikings-Bengals. Both teams are 7-6. Both teams still trying to fight for that playoff spot. I don't have it up right now, but I believe they're both still eligible to. Nope, not a chance in fucking hell. I was going to say they both have a chance to win their division. The Vikings still technically do have a chance to win their division. I don't think they will, though. The Bengals don't have a chance in hell at winning it. Because I forgot they're in the same division as Baltimore, and they're 10-3. Bengals are last right now with the same record as Pittsburgh, but a game behind the Browns. Actually, they have a game behind the Browns. So they're still technically looking for a playoff spot. I don't have the numbers in front of me to know their exact percentage, but I know they're still in the hunt, especially with their record. This is a very important game for both teams. Both teams need to win out to at least still have a shot at the playoffs. So this is a very important game for both teams. Jake Browning is playing very well for Cincinnati from what I've heard. I've not gotten a chance to see anything from him. I haven't been able to see any of his games. I have heard that he's playing very well, and I believe he's only played, 2 games this season? 3. He started, I believe, 3 games at this point. Lost to Pittsburgh, then beat Jacksonville in overtime, then beat the Colts last week. Been playing well in his 3 games that he started, at least. He might have started a 4th, I don't really know. But he has 924 yards on the season, 5 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions, has a QBR of 60, if that matters to you. But yeah, I'm kind of excited to see what he can do. I want to see how he's going to play, and see how he's going to do under that pressure against a team who has at least a semi-decent defense in the Vikings. Now, the Vikings, I'm not 100% if this is true, but I'm 90% certain that I actually saw this and didn't just think it up somehow. But I'm pretty sure Josh Dobbs is not going to be starting for the Vikings. So I'm going to go the Bengals in this just because Josh Dobbs got sat. And I don't know who their backup quarterback is right now, or their third-string quarterback, I should say, is right now. So for that reason, I'm going with Cincinnati because I don't really know what the Vikings are going to be able to do offensively. Next game is Steelers versus Colts. Same as last game. Both teams still fighting for playoff spots. Colts are surprisingly in it this year. They came into this year thinking that it's just going to be a developmental year for Anthony Richardson. He got hurt and ended up getting shoulder surgery that put him out for the rest of the year. Then Gardner Minshew comes in. I know a lot of Colts fans, especially being in Indiana, hearing a lot of Colts fans said at the beginning of the season that they should start Gardner Minshew and give Anthony Richardson time to develop. Wow, I cannot talk to that. But nonetheless, they started Richardson, and lo and behold, Gardner Minshew comes in, and they're in the hunt for the playoffs. Now, they're probably not going to make the playoffs, but you're still, if you're a Colts fan, you're still happy and content with what is going on with the Colts this season. They're still technically in the hunt. They're still decent, and with their expectations being low, expecting 4-ish wins, 4 or less wins this season, coming in having 7 wins. You're on top of the world right now, coming into a rebuilding year, or a developmental year, I should say, and being a potential playoff team. You're on top of the fucking world. They need but nonetheless, they are facing the Steelers. Going to be a very entertaining game. This is, I believe, the second or third game that the Steelers have without Matt Canada. It's probably been more. I don't really know what week we're on anymore. But it's going to be interesting, especially with Kenny Pickett. I don't know if it's just Kenny Pickett or if it's Matt Canada. Kenny Pickett hasn't really been great this season. He has 2,000 yards, only 6 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. Not great, but give him the rest of this season and all of next season to judge him properly and see if it was Matt Canada or see if it was Kenny Pickett. At the end of the day, we'll be able to see in this game especially if he's going to be at least a semi-decent quarterback, or if they just need to cut their losses and go out in the draft and try and draft a quarterback, especially with how deep this quarterback draft is, or quarterback class is. And I'll talk about that later down the line whenever we get to draft time-ish, or when I just run out of things to record. But nonetheless, I do think that the Colts are going to be able to pull this one out. It's in Lucas Oil. Jonathan Taylor is not playing this week. He is out with another injury. I believe it's a thumb injury, if I'm not mistaken. I probably am. But Zach Moss is going to be getting the start. He started for most of the season, or most of the beginning of the season, and he played tremendously. He's definitely been a good running back this year. I think he can hold them down this game and be able to sneak out with a win. But yeah, nonetheless, I do think that the Colts are going to win this, even though that the Steelers have a top defense this season. I do still think they're going to be able to pull it out. I just don't have too much confidence in that Steelers offense. I don't think Kenny Pickett is where he needs to be at this point in his career, and I think he's been a little underwhelming, and I think he still needs a little bit more time to develop outside of Matt Canada, and I just don't have much faith in the rest of that offense other than George Pickens. So, yeah, I'm going with Colts in that one. Next game, Lions versus Broncos. Definitely going to be a fun matchup. Lions, they kind of have to win out at this point if they want to win the division in the NFC North. They're 9-4 right now. They're kind of in a competitive race. I feel like they are going to be able to win out. Actually, maybe not. Looking at their schedule, they're probably not going to win out. They're the Broncos this week, and the Broncos have been on a roll. They're in the same boat that the Colts are, just surprised that they're even in a playoff contention at this point. Just a lot of things that have gone right this season. Russell Wilson's looking like he still has a little bit left in the tank. Sean Payton's looking like a genius right now after Denver's awful season last year, coming in and bringing them to a potential playoff berth in his first season as head coach. He's looking like a genius right now, looking for a raise or something, or looking around the league to see where he can get another job if he does end up getting fired from Denver or if he wants to leave Denver. But nonetheless, Denver has been playing very, very well this season. Their past couple games, they have been beating some good teams. Starting off with their win streak that started against the Packers, then moved on to the Chiefs after they killed the Chiefs 24-19. Barely beat the Bills, barely beat the Vikings, which surprised me. Beat the Browns, lost to the Texans, which I'm not gonna lie, I don't expect you to beat the Texans. Texans, I'll talk about them once I get to their game. And then coming off of a win against the Chargers, beating them 24-7. Now, they're playing the Lions, who, in my opinion, has a top 5 defense this season, especially with Aiden Hutchinson coming off the edge. This is going to be a very exciting game to see how Russell Wilson is going to be able to combat Aiden Hutchinson, especially with him being so young. Now, I understand Russell Wilson has played with some great defensive players and has played against some of the greatest defensive players in his career. I do think that, and this is probably going to be considered a hot take, but I don't give a shit. Aiden Hutchinson is, I feel like if he continues on this trajectory, he will be a first ballot Hall of Famer at this point. But nonetheless, getting back to the actual game, I do think that the Lions will be able to pull this one out. I think they are a better team. I just think Denver's defense isn't as solid as it needs to be against this Lions offense. It's been tremendous all season. Jared Goff is proving me wrong. I honestly thought that he was a decent quarterback. I didn't think that he was going to be able to put up the numbers that he has. He's put up 3,400 yards, 21 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions. Been playing phenomenally this year and been elevating his guys on offense, one of them being Amon-Ra St. Brown. But yeah, I think this Lions offense is just going to be able to destroy the Broncos defense. So yeah. Moving on to the Sunday games. First game is Bears-Browns. Browns still in the hunt a little bit for the playoffs. Bears are not. I think they might as well just tank at this point. They have the number 1 pick. I'm pretty sure they secured the number 1 pick. If they haven't, I know that they currently have the number 1 pick. But I don't think that they're going to be playing, or at least I don't think that they have much incentive to play, especially with being eliminated from the playoffs. I just think that the Browns will sweep this one up, and especially because the Bears suck, but the Browns also suck, but they're better than the Bears at least, so I think that they will be able to pull this one out. Moving on to the next game is Buccaneers versus Packers. Buccaneers are kind of in that same group that the Colts were in, kind of surprised where they're at this season. They were trying to move on from Brady, if I could talk. They were starting to move on from Brady. They were kind of expecting to be mediocre, kind of shitty, probably like a 4 or 5 win team. They're 6-7 right now. Baker Mayfield came in and proved everyone wrong. He has 2,900 yards with 20 touchdowns and only 8 interceptions. He's been balling out. I've been surprised by how well he's doing this season. I thought leaving Cleveland, I forget how he left Cleveland. I don't remember. But I thought coming out of Cleveland, I thought this was just going to be a way for him to just settle down his career and just let it die out naturally, and he'll be out of the league within 2-3 years. That season that he had backing up Brady seemed to have helped him a lot. And it is something that I'm loving, that I love to see. Baker Mayfield succeeding. I've liked him since he was at Oklahoma. I didn't love when he planted the flag at midfield, the fucking Buckeyes, but still, I love his arrogance. I love everything about him. I think he's kind of an arrogant dick, but that's kind of what I like about him, and I like that he's doing well. Moving on to the Packers, last week's game against the Giants. What the fuck, Joe Barry? LaFleur needs to do something. That was a needed win to basically make sure that we're kind of into the playoffs. That would have helped us a lot. We pissed it away at the end because Joe Barry likes to play soft, play 8 yards back, and which makes the quarterback for the opposing team know that he can throw to anyone on the field and get an easy 8 yards out of it. What the fuck, Joe Barry? LaFleur needs to fire him. Honestly, I think, and I know this isn't going to happen because Mark Murphy, our CEO, he's retiring next season because the Packers have some rule where you have to retire when I believe it's 65 or 75. I don't remember which one it is. But next year is going to be his last year before he has to retire from being the CEO. And I don't think he's going to blow it up. I think he's going to run it back for one more season and let the next guy handle it. And I understand why he wants to do that. He doesn't want the next guy to come into a shit show. I understand why he's doing that. At the same time, fire that whole fucking staff. Actually, not the whole staff. Keep our quarterback coach. I actually kind of like him. Mainly because Rodgers absolutely loved him. Now, I don't love Rodgers personally, but he did say that it was the reason why he succeeded as a quarterback. And I've heard a lot of other quarterbacks come out and say that they liked him as a coach. I would love to see them keep him. I don't know if it's possible, but fire everyone on the staff except our quarterback coach. And for some reason, I cannot remember his name. But nonetheless, getting back to the actual game, must-win game for both teams. Packers desperately need this win if they want to stay in the playoffs. They have to win out the rest of the season, and their next couple of games is kind of easy after this. It really doesn't look that difficult. I believe it's Vikings. So it's after this, it's Panthers, Vikings, Bears. Easy-ass schedule. We'll blow the Panthers out of the water. If we lose the fucking Panthers, I know no one in the Packers organization is watching this, but I just want to say one thing. Don't lose to the fucking Panthers. We should be eliminated from the playoffs if we lose to the Panthers. They're terrible this season. They're so bad they fired their coach halfway through the season. we cannot be losing to them. And I know they will find a way to lose that game, and it's going to piss me off. But nonetheless, getting back to the actual game, it's going to be a very fun game. I think Baker Mayfield's going to have a lot of fun in this game playing against the Packers defense. It's not a great defense, but it's still a defense nonetheless. He's going to have a lot of fun doing it. I do think that Jordan Love, if this is a good game for Jordan Love and it's not a game where he's not playing very well or doesn't seem very confident in his choices and what he's doing and is not really throwing the ball very well like he was a couple weeks ago, or actually like he was 2 weeks ago when he was playing the Chiefs. Dude looked comfortable as hell, and I loved it. Was dicing up that Chiefs defense. But nonetheless, if this is a good Jordan Love game, I think the Packers will be able to pull this out. If not, it's not going to be a very fun game for Packers fans. So it depends on how Jordan Love plays. If he plays well, Packers win. If not, Packers lose. But nonetheless, I have to go Packers here just because I'm biased. Next game, Texans-Titans. Texans, I keep saying this, but they're in the same boat that the Colts were in. Surprised that they're this good. C.J. Stroud playing out of his mind. I believe he's in concussion protocol. He's questionable. I don't know if he's going to play. He also doesn't have his two targets this season in Nico Collins and Tank Dell. His two favorite targets are hurt for the rest of the season. So if they do make the playoffs, they're probably not going to last very long. Will Anderson is also questionable. I haven't watched any Texans games this year. I need to. This will probably be... I will probably have this game on my phone while watching the Packers on my TV. I want to see C.J. Stroud play, and I want to see Will Anderson play. Now, obviously, if C.J. Stroud has a concussion, don't let him play. I'm very big on not letting players play with concussions, especially with everything that happened last season with Tua. Definitely not stuff you want to see. But nonetheless, this is going to be a very good game. I don't think that the Titans are going to be able to pull it out, though. I think the Texans are just a lot better team. So, yeah, Texans are winning that one. Next game is Jets versus Dolphins. Jets need to win this game if they want to at least have some chance. No matter how small it is, they need to win this game to have some itty-bitty chance at being in the playoffs. And especially with Rodgers, I believe, coming back very soon. I don't know if it's this game or next game. Who knows? But nonetheless, they need to win this game. I don't think they will. They're facing the Dolphins. Going to be very hard to compete. That defense has been very underwhelming to me. I got to see some of their defense. I don't remember when I started saying that they have a good defense. I was completely wrong. It's not a terrible defense, but it's not great. It's still a top 15 defense, but yeah, that's not great. And I don't see any chance for them to stop Tyreek Hill and Jaden Waddle. They just have no fucking shot in this. Dolphins are winning by a lot. And the Dolphins are the kings of beating teams under 500. Nonetheless, next game is Chiefs versus Patriots. I'm not even talking about this game. Chiefs are winning. Chiefs are winning this game. Next game, Giants versus Saints. I don't know who to pick in this one. I'm not going to lie. I'm going Giants in this one. I'm not going to lie. I don't like how Derek Carr has been playing. I don't see how Saints fans... I don't know how Saints fans feel, but I know how a couple of them feel. I don't know if this is how all of them feel, but I know that some of them think that he's doing very well this season. He's not. Just by the eye test, I'm not looking at stats or anything. Eye test, he doesn't look great. Now, that's not entirely his fault. there's not a great offensive team. And I think that the Giants are on a roll right now. Tommy DeVito, I have seen one game from him. I'm not going to say anything, good or bad, about him until I watch more games of him. Now, I will say, he did play well against the Packers. Granted, the Packers have a shitty fucking defense, so that's not really saying much. But I did see some things, some flashes of him being good. I don't know. I haven't seen enough of him. I don't know whether he's going to be good or bad or not. We'll see, though. But I do have the Giants winning that one. Next game is Falcons-Panthers. The Falcons are winning that one. I shouldn't even have to explain myself. Next game, Commanders-Rams. God, this is going to be a shitty game. I'm going to Rams because Commanders went from having a good defense to having the worst defense in the league. But, yeah, Rams in that one. Next game, Niners-Cardinals. Niners. I'm not even talking about that one. There's not even a point. Next game, actually a good game. Cowboys-Bills. Going to be a very fun game. Cowboys, it's starting to look like they're actually them boys. They're actually starting to look good. So played some good teams. They beat some good teams. They're 10-3 at the moment. But they're on kind of a win streak right now. They beat the Giants, beat the Panthers, both, and the Commanders. Not three. Not very huge wins. Then going on to Seahawks and that exciting Thursday night game. Then beat the Eagles. Destroyed the Eagles, I should say. Beat them 33-13. So they're on about a 5-game win streak right now. They're starting to play very well. I like what I see from Dak Prescott. He's been a lot better than I give him credit for. I know I love to shit on him all the time. It's my favorite thing to do, and just shit on the Cowboys in general. But he's been playing well. That defense is scary as hell. Top 3 defense. Dak, yeah, he's actually pretty good, and I think he'll be able to slice up that Bills defense. It's going to be very exciting to watch, especially with the Bills starting to show some signs of life. They did beat the Chiefs 20-17 last week. Lost by 3 to the Eagles the week before, then destroyed the Jets the week before. But I'm really going to be focusing on those past 2 weeks in the Eagles-Chiefs. They ramped it up a lot in these past 2 weeks. And I know there's been a lot of hate for Josh Allen this season. There's been a lot of love for Josh Allen this season. People go back and forth on him all the time. People suck his dick one minute, then the next they're throwing him in the garbage. It doesn't make sense. Make up your fucking mind. I think he's a good quarterback who is struggling, or who was struggling, I should say. He's a great quarterback who was struggling early in this season. He didn't have the greatest numbers. He was averaging a pick a game, an interception a game, and it just didn't look well. It just didn't look good at all. And he's kind of turned it around these past 2 games, and I like what I have seen. I think he is going to be able to pull it together against the Cowboys. I don't think that it's going to be enough, though. I think that Cowboys offense is good enough and lethal enough, and your defense just sucks enough to where the Cowboys are going to be able to outscore you. And that Cowboys defense is good enough to where I think even if you have a good game, it's still going to be a bad game for you. So I am going Cowboys in that one. Next game is Ravens versus Jags. Ravens in this one. I don't really think that the Jags have much left in the tank. Trevor Lawrence played on I think it was a sprained ankle last week. Played well, but I just don't think that the Jags have it in them to beat the Ravens. I haven't really seen much from the Ravens this season. I need to watch this game. because I honestly thought that they were terrible offensively. With the 10-3 record, you can't have a terrible offense. I'm definitely missing something. I know Zay Flowers has been outstanding, but I haven't seen much. I need to watch this game, but I'm still going to the Ravens in this game because I don't think the Jags have much left in the tank. I think they've kind of pulled it back on the season a little bit. Last game is Eagles versus Seahawks. It's the Monday night game. I think this will be an exciting game if Geno Smith plays well. If he plays well, this will be a close, exciting game like the Cowboys game the other week or a couple weeks ago. I do still think the Eagles are going to pull this out unless if that Seahawks defense is able to see what the Niners and the Cowboys did to stop, or were able to do to stop Jalen Hurts. If they are able to figure that out and be able to see that, they might have a chance in this game. Combine that with Geno Smith playing well, they have a pretty good shot at winning this. But I don't know if Geno Smith is going to play well or not, so I have to pick the Eagles in that one. But yeah, that's all I have for you today. See you next time. Peace.